Ali Tareen, if you don't know who he is, going to be joining us very soon. Co-owner of Mull Down Sultans. I'm looking at my messages here because he still hasn't messaged me. Don't know what he's doing. He said he's going to be here. He's definitely going to be here. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk about the lack of South Asians in football. We're going to talk about cricket. Oh, he's joining us finally. I was just about to say I'm going to go out and come back in again for a third time. Ali, I think you have to request. He has requested. Finally, I'm going to give him some stick for being late.
Hey, buddy.
Hey man, how you doing?
I just want to say, according to Pakistan time, I'm still early. 8 minutes is not late in Pakistan. That's so early.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I just felt like you were watching it from far away, being like, "I'll just watch him. I'll just watch him get tortured."
We have to build up that desire. That's how you lock it in.
But I just want to let you know I'm Pakistani as well, so I know that timing, and we probably do it even worse here.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then at the same time, you're my guest, so I have to still be on time.
True. I'm glad you weren't on. You weren't late. That's very important.
Yeah. How you doing? How's lockdown?
Lockdown is good. Just getting by one day at a time, like everyone around the world.
Yeah. What have you been doing?
So when the lockdown began, and I was sitting with my friends, I was like, we're gonna have all this free time because I travel a lot. So I'm generally in a different city every 3 days. So when I knew I was going to be in one city, for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, I was like, nah, I'm going to get ripped. I'm going to learn, the piano. I'm going to, learn how to juggle. I'm going to do these courses online. I'm going to do this online. I'm going to reconnect with all my, university friends. Obviously, none of that happened because I realized, unlike my other friends who are single, I am married with 2 kids. And
Yeah.
when you're married with 2 kids, stuck in the house with them, it's not about you. It's about the kids. So my mornings, afternoon, evenings is just like a whirlwind of toys and Baby Shark and running around the
Oh,
kids
Baby
and cricket
Shark.
and stuff. So yeah, my 1 year old
Oh,
has just discovered Baby Shark. So my toddler who's 3 has just grown past it and she's bored of it now. My 1 year old has just discovered it. So all day is just Baby Shark. So that's how I'm spending my quarantine.
listen to Baby Shark every single day.
Every day, morning times, Baby Shark.
Yeah. What have you been watching any series? Have you been catching up with anything? I know obviously when you've got 2 kids,
And
I don't have 2 kids, so I'm all right.
yeah, we're living in very different lockdowns, man. It's a completely different ball game for us. I again had planned I'm going to catch up on all these TV shows, see everything that I haven't seen in a while, that I haven't seen, and just live life to the fullest in my staycation lockdown. But as boring as I am, I started rewatching stuff. So I rewatched House of Cards. I was rewatching Breaking Bad. Now I'm watching Better Call Saul, which is fun. The Last Dance was amazing. I'm waiting for the new episodes. Are you watching that? Are you a basketball fan at all?
Yeah, but I can't watch things week after week. So like I'm gonna wait till the whole thing comes out and then watch it
Ah,
all
you're
at
gonna
once.
binge it properly. Right. Were you a
Yeah. So
basketball fan?
say again.
Were you a basketball fan?
Not particularly. Like I watch a little bit here and there. I tend to I follow LeBron James because he's a Liverpool fan and like he's just a really cool
Ah,
guy.
right.
So I'm not like someone who watches basketball all the time. Do you watch basketball like religiously?
So I used to when I was about 10, 11 years old, I was a huge NBA fan. So I'd wake up at like 5 a.m. to watch all the games. Back then, I was a Raptors fan, who have now just won. So I grew up during that time when Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, these guys were killing it there. But haven't watched it in a while. Started watching it recently this year when Toronto had that run.
Yeah.
But I haven't followed it as much. But the Last Dance is an amazing documentary, and you really should check it out.
All right. Well, that's a recommendation for you as well. Have you watched Money Heist?
I have. I'm on season 4, I think. Season 3 or season 4, one of them.
Yeah. Money Heist is awesome, isn't it?
Money Heist is great. They have too much of the love thing going on in between episodes, and I'm like, guys, just get to the heist. Get to the heist. I don't care about this love right now, guys. Get back to it.
It's like proper Pakistani drama, isn't it?
Proper Pakistani drama that, there's money heist going on, but the victim has fallen in love with the thief. So spoilers for anyone who's watching.
Yeah. All right, let's talk sports, because obviously that's why we're here. We're going to talk about the South Asians in general. We're going to talk about football as well, but of course we'll start with cricket. So being completely honest from my end, what we see here, we don't tend to see a lot of PSL because it's
Yeah.
not available. We have to watch it on some dodgy stream. Apologies to anyone who's watching this who works for the PSL or anything like that, but we can't watch it here. How do we get,
Yeah.
and Pakistan as well, how do we get PSL to the level of, say, what the Indian cricket leagues are, or where, well, less so T20. T20 is not so popular here, the T20 Bash. But what do you think we need to do to get PSL, I guess, upmarket in the UK?
So it's all about the broadcasting. The broadcast deals we do, we tend to leave it too late towards the tournament. So everyone just scrambling to find someone to air the games. I think we need to invest a lot more in online stuff. So it's not, if the games are on YouTube Live at a good quality stream, you'll find so many more people watching. Yeah, maybe you don't monetize it as much, but you want to have one element of the game which is just focused on growth. So international growth, we shouldn't be trying to sell the rights in the UK or Australia or anywhere where there's big expat community of Pakistanis or Asians. We want growth of the league. So we just want free YouTube stream. So in Pakistan, we get free stream. So if I'm traveling and I can't watch some of the other games, I watch it on my phone. So we should do something that you guys can watch it all over the world on YouTube.
Yeah, because I think the thing about PSL is, especially the last couple of years, I've been lucky enough to sort of watch it, and the guy in the conversation, Tanzil, who you spoke to earlier, he's really on it. So we kind of like follow each other's streams on Twitter or whatever.
Nice, nice.
Like you can keep up to pace with it. But in the last few years, it's really caught fire, especially here. Obviously, it's been the same over there. I mean, the finals and the atmosphere, and I think people in Pakistan have really took to the league, right?
Yeah. And we had a huge English contingent this year in PSL. Every team had English players. We had a huge contingent of English coaches, English players. So I think there's a lot of interest from the UK. We had some UK journalists fly in to cover the PSL as well from the Cricketer magazine. That was great. So yeah, I think we're growing a lot towards a UK audience, especially because of the connection of cricket, the fact that most of our cricketers go and play county cricket in England. So many English cricketers came for PSL, and we all have all that history there. So England, I think, is the country that we're pushing towards the most.
Yeah, this is a really random question. It's just come to my head now. Would you bring Multan Sultans here for like like in football, you do like a tour, pre-season tour?
Yeah, absolutely.
Surely, I guess it's just a business idea. I mean, my background's business, so of course, if anyone wants any advice, give me a shout. But surely, bringing Multan Sultans here, you can bring a brand new audience. People will start to understand that Pakistan cricket's back, because I think for a long time, of course, in the UK, we've only ever followed the international scene. So you only ever watch Pakistan, India, but you won't really go watch Pakistan against, I don't know, Afghanistan on a tour. It just doesn't really happen here. Maybe that could be like an avenue in.
For sure, for sure. What I was thinking, I was speaking to some people about, is not just for like a friendly, but it should be like like the champion of Pakistan versus the champion of England. So let's say whoever wins the T20 Blast and whoever wins the PSL in Pakistan, the champions from Pakistan should fly over to the winning county and play a home game, and then that county should fly to Pakistan to play an away game and see who's the best T20 team. What would really be cool is not just like domestic T20s, but the IPL champion, BBL champion, BPL champion, and PSL champion. That kind of tournament would be just amazing, like a mini Champions League.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just read a comment where someone saying I feel a bit down and I don't look like my regular self, and which is 100% accurate because I haven't had my tea yet. So just excuse me 1 second.
Might be the first person who goes and gets the tea in the middle of a stream. I'm guessing you can hear me.
Isn't there some things that are more important than anything? And tea is one of them.
Are you having like Pakistani chai, or are you having like
Pakistani chai? Proper Pakistani chai. No, Pakistani chai. Cheers.
Yeah. Wait, is it a fast open time there? Yeah, it must be. It's like 9 o'clock there, right?
Yeah, it opened a couple of hours ago. So this is my first cup of tea of the day. So thank you for the fan who reminded me to have the tea.
I've got a random question. Whenever I do live streams with anyone of South Asian background, I always get this comment that I've got a fake accent. What is that all about? Why do people think you've got a fake? What does that even mean?
No idea. Baffled. I thought they're talking about me.
I think they're talking about me. I don't think they're talking about you. Your accent's obviously honestly, whenever
This is authentic, man. This is born and raised in Pakistan, all the way. So I don't know how this can be fake.
yeah, I mean, anyway. I think the idea of the Cricket Champions League would be awesome, but it's always a case
Yeah.
of this is the biggest issue, I guess, in any sport is where do you host it, who gets the most money, and all of that sort of thing. And I think that's what always causes the issues. But cricket-wise, of course,
I think you figured it out for Champions League. So it's just a smaller version of that.
yeah, with less teams, like basically all the best teams
Yeah.
up against each other, and the winner essentially becomes like the best team.
The global champion, yeah.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Like the T20 world champion. Yeah, franchise champion.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Cricket-wise, obviously, for so many years, Pakistanis and South Asians in general, of course, we're both Pakistani, but South Asians in general have been amongst cricket for many, many years. Like when I was a kid, I was massively into cricket, more so in the last few years, but that middle bracket I sort of missed. Why do you think that in cricket we're so dominant, but in a sport like football, we literally don't even exist?
Yeah, so I've for the past so PSL I just bought the team a couple of years ago. This is my second season.
Yeah.
But for the past 4 years, I've been running cricket leagues in South Punjab, so the rural areas of Pakistan, which is where the grassroots level cricket is being played. And what I found, and this is one of the reasons I feel Pakistan isn't as consistent anymore in as a national team, is because grassroots level, no one has structured leagues. So I come to England every summer and I play club cricket. And every county, every little village has its own ground, has its own cricket team, has a second 11, first 11. It's a proper functioning system. Whereas in Pakistan, there's next to nothing happening these days in club cricket. So because there's no competitive league happening, for under 19s, under 16s, or just for amateurs, they have nowhere to go play cricket. If you're not playing regularly, no matter how much you practice at home or do any tricks, and I'm talking about football here, you're not gonna go to the next level because we don't have any football leagues, structured leagues across Pakistan. Where are the people going to come from? That's the basic funnel, the club cricket, and from club cricket or club football, that's where you find the really talented players, and then you take them to the academies, give them proper training, and then they play at an even higher competition domestically, and then they become international or national stars. We have none of that. We have no infrastructure from the national team all the way down to club or school level, and that's what we're lacking.
Really? So I get, obviously, cricket, the structure of cricket is completely different. You play at grassroots level, you obviously own your own academy. There's many other academies across Pakistan, and then players work.
No, they're not.
Through.
They aren't. They aren't. That's the whole issue. So if anyone's doing something in their own city or village, it's like it's just a passion project. There's no structure. There are no coaches. There's no coaching guidelines. There's nothing. And this now, PCB, since Wasim Khan came from Leicestershire to Pakistan, Salmani came from the ICC, they are now building a proper club structure that will connect the grassroots to the national team and make player pathways. Because obviously, Wasim Khan has done such wonders in England, is a product of the county system himself. So he's now implementing a proper club structure in Pakistan. And then we hope to find more consistent performances and stars. But for football, for hockey, for all of these games, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. That kind of explains why, over the years, I think the myth definitely in England, and I don't know if it's the same in Pakistan, which is why it's great to have you on, because I think the opinions are so different, because they're told different stories. The opinion here is, why do players in Pakistan's national team come on the scene so late? But I think that's the answer, isn't it?
That's the answer.
There's no pathway to get them in at the right time.
Well, what I tell people is it takes a miracle for someone to get to the national team. It takes a miracle. Someone like Haris Rao, for example, this tape ball bowler who played in Big Bash as well, PSL, and now in the national team. It was a miracle that he showed up during a PSL team's talent hunt, the Lahore Qalandars. They found him. The coach who was watching was a legendary fast bowler, Akib Javed. He took him under his wing. They pushed him in the PSL. He did well. Suddenly Dale Steyn got injured, had to be replaced for a while in Big Bash. He went there, performed well, and because of that performance, he got picked for the Pakistan team. Miracle. most of the players that get picked for Pakistan are miracles, or they have very some of them, very few have connections to PCB. But
Yeah.
generally, you need a miracle to get to the team.
So this is on a personal level. I don't know what your opinion is of Heather Ali, but I think he's an immense player. How long is it?
Absolutely.
Like he from my personal opinion, he could play international cricket now.
I'm a
Why?
huge Heather Ali fan. So I'm a huge Heather Ali fan. Even when he played against us, I was rooting for him because I just loved his aggressive approach and the way he
Yeah.
played, such a laissez-faire attitude. I loved it. But now, because of PSL, he is now in the national reckoning. Whereas before that, no one heard of him. No one was talking about him. People said, yeah, he's an under 19 kid. He could be big one day. But if we didn't give him that platform, again, it was a miracle that he was available for that tournament, for that team who needed a batsman at that spot, and he has happened to do well. And now people are talking about him. So now, depending on the new domestic structure, if the international series in England happen or not, we'll see when he's going to come to the team. But he's definitely going to need to be integrated into the team because I don't want to give anything away. So many data analysts in our team for the PSL. So our guys made a plan, which we feel is confident that if we do this against Heather, he will not be able to perform the way he does. So if we can figure him out at this stage, I'm sure other teams can. And at 19, you're obviously going to be figured out because you're 19. But give a few seasons, some proper coaches, more high level experience, and he's going to be a world beater in the next year or two.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it requires. There's I think a lot of Pakistani players over the years come onto the scene for 2 years. They're amazing, and then they fall off
Yeah,
a cliff. You wonder, where has this guy gone? And I think that's probably the greatest
yeah,
frustration for anyone outside of Pakistan who's not that involved in cricket. Of course, I watch it from a distance, and I've presented a few things, but I don't co-own a team, and I'm not involved in a team or anything. Back to football, and I think there was a question just here that is actually quite a good question. What do you think of the Newcastle takeover?
So I have a friend of mine who is probably the biggest, if not the only, but the biggest Newcastle fan in Pakistan, and he has been waiting for years for someone to buy the team. And now he is screaming off the rafters, saying that he is finally, all his patience of being a Newcastle fan has paid off. And now they've been taken over by the Saudis. And I was expecting, Messi and Ronaldo and all these guys to come to the team and be a viable fantasy option.
How on earth is there a Newcastle fan in Pakistan?
He's messaging right now, Asr Malik, sending all the hearts and Newcastle.
um, Obviously, the scene in terms of South Asia, for some reason I've been to India the last few years, but I've not actually been to Pakistan because of like visa issues. I'm planning to come next year actually. Hopefully, once this Corona situation is done. And when I went to India, one thing I noticed is people love football. They love, breathe, die for football. I've
Yeah,
family in
same here.
Pakistan. Yeah, it's exactly the same. But why is there? I mean, are kids playing football on the street in Pakistan, or is it still cricket?
I think you find all you'll find the people who have a lot of international exposure, who travel a lot, or who spend time abroad. They're the big football fans. Whereas the majority of people in Pakistan, again, we've had a big history of Pakistan playing football. So people in
Yeah,
Balochistan would play a lot of football. People in Multan would play a lot of football. But again, because there wasn't a league, there wasn't a place where they can channel their emotion. They didn't have a local team or a national team or an icon to support. So it just died away. But you have a lot of people watching the Premier League, especially. I'm a big Serie A fan. I'm an AC Milan fan. It's not a good time to be a AC Milan fan for the past 5 years, but I've stuck with it.
yeah.
And but yeah, there's a lot of Premier League interest in Pakistan. Very closely followed.
Is that something you'd be interested in as a person to potentially create a structure in a league where people can come and play?
So this is something I thought about. This is before I started the cricket leagues, because at that time I was thinking, do I start a sports program where in different um, districts of Pakistan I'm creating like a sports club which has football, cricket, volleyball, badminton, multiple things, or do I stick with one sport and spread it bigger? And that's why I decided, if you're going to go big on one thing and champion that cause. So my goal was to spread cricket leagues in South Punjab because South Punjab is an area in Pakistan which has been neglected, for years and years, for decades. And this is where Inzamam ul Haq came from, Waqar Yunus came from, Mushtaq Ahmed came from. But since they retired, which youngster from South Punjab has come to the national team? No one. And there's no reason. It's not that the talent suddenly stopped being born. It's that the infrastructure finished. There were kids weren't getting support, didn't have equipment, they didn't have nets, and so on. So my goal was to restart leagues in Pakistan, in South Punjab, and champion that cause. Football needs a champion like that who says, listen, I am going to, or we are going to restart leagues in Pakistan, and then just go all out. So you need one person to be obsessed with one idea to get something like this off the ground.
Mm-hmm. And then in terms of like playing football over there, I've actually, of course, I've done a little bit of research. You play cricket, you play football. Do you guys play like five-a-side over there? Is there social games?
Yeah, there are social games. You'll see occasionally, because there's a net nearby my house, and you see football players there all the time, and they're so loud that I can hear them sitting in my lounge from the window. I can hear across the street the football clubs, just people going crazy. So there's a lot of interest, but there's no structure, and the structure is what just the people know much more about this than I do. But I spoke to some of my friends who are familiar with the Pakistan Football Federation, and they're just holding their heads all the time. It's all political, so much intrigue, and people are just incompetent or just self-interest there. It's just not being done at the government level. So maybe some private people can come together and start making leagues. And again, so some people did. Some people call Ronaldinho and Kaká and all these guys came and they were playing games. That's not going to create a league. That's not the way to do it. You can't do it top down. It has to be grassroots up. Once you establish grassroots level teams, and you have school versus school, or you have that neighborhood versus that neighborhood, when those rivalries and players come from there, and that becomes a thing, that's when you can grow it into something bigger. And once that grassroots is established, that's when you get these international coaches and international players to come to Pakistan to upgrade the system. You can't start with Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho coming to Pakistan for a week is not going to spontaneously start leagues all across the nation. It's just not going to happen. You have to go grassroots first.
Yeah, I think that was something that was asked to me recently. Obviously, I've been battering this door about South Asians in football for so long, and someone said to me, Ronaldinho went to Pakistan, and there's no football played in Pakistan after that. And I said, well, Ronaldinho doesn't speak Urdu, doesn't speak Punjabi, he barely speaks English. He's not a relatable character. He's a wonderful footballer, but
yeah, of course, who doesn't love him? But his visit is not going to galvanize the nation.
Yeah. Do you think there's a parental support for kids to play football in leagues and stuff? So here, for example, I'm 28, and my parents have supported me my whole life. But prior to that, my uncle didn't get the same level of support to go play five-a-side or go play casual football like Sunday league we have here or Saturday league. Do you think there's that support towards football like there is for cricket in Pakistan?
Not at all. Even towards cricket, there's very little support. It's more of if you're not, some people who the parents feel, listen, you are not going anywhere with your education, you might as well try cricket or do whatever you want. Just make sure you bring me cash somehow. So a lot of these guys are playing for a few years. If they don't find any financial reward, they just go back and you miss out on their talent. So one of the reasons I created those leagues in Pakistan was so people could see this like a viable way to make a living. So even at my academy, the goal is the first team and second team get paid, because obviously we understand in a village, if your young son is not contributing towards the house finances, he's a drain on that. He's a drain, not an asset. So we need to make sure that anyone who we feel has talent has the ability to tell his parents, listen, I'm bringing in money. This is what I would have done if I was working, selling things on the road or whatever the job you want me to have, or helping out on the land. Here's cash, and now let me pursue this as a full-time thing. So we're starting to pay them to be part of the academy, who we feel need that little boost, so they can give it their all on the field. And again, cricket, Pakistan is a one-game nation. Cricket is the game. And if parents don't give their kids support for cricket, and there are very few parents who do, but the others, they don't get it. So forget about being supported for football or any of the other things, because there's no future in it.
Yeah, I agree. On a lighter note, FPL. Obviously, I think you said you watched the FPL FYI show. Are you any good at FPL, or?
I am I have a couple of top 10K finishes worldwide, so I'm not bad.
Top 10K worldwide. Wow. Are you on it like
So
every single week?
I used to watch every single game, whether it's Burnley versus Leicester or Burnley versus Aston Villa, anyone, because my defender is playing, or have someone in that team who's playing. So I used to consume all football every week. And my wife, who's watching right now, is probably very happy that football is finished. But obviously, I'm devastated because it's left a huge weekend hole in my life. And not only the weekend matches, but then the podcasts, then the FPL podcast. So the whole ecosystem around football for me, I'm missing all of that. So I actually to give you guys credit, playing FPL for about 5-6 years now, it was a huge help when we started picking the PSL team, because when we started looking at the draft, because I've been doing the PSL draft for a few years, uh, all the stuff techniques that we've used to do well in FPL were easily translatable to PSL. For example, when you're doing the draft and when we were looking at it, we said we need to make the best starting 11 we can. We don't want to use our draft picks to have a strong bench if we know what they're not going to play. So it's the same thing in FPL, which is make sure your starting 11 is as strong as it can be. The bench players should be able to play, but these you don't want people who you have to rotate in, rotate out all the time, because you're always going to make the wrong decision. You want the best 11 on the field. And the same way we did that for FPL, the same thing we did for the PSL team. So there were so many similarities that I felt really helped in picking the team.
Oh wow! So basically, I own a tiny percentage of something to do with PSL.
Fact, fact. You have definitely contributed to the success of Multan Sultans in your own way.
Well, as I said, when I come next year, I'll definitely try and come to a game or something. But yeah, of course, FPL. I don't know when it's going to be back. Hopefully, pretty soon.
I've had a really bad season this year because I've been too busy with cricket. So I don't mind if FPL doesn't conclude this year. This has been a bad year.
How are you? Are you? You know, when you say you watch Burnley, Aston Villa, are you watching full games?
Full games.
That's
So
another.
we get way more televised games than you do in England. 'Cause I spend a lot of time in England in the summers especially, and you'll have Gillette Soccer Saturday, and there's no match on. Whereas in Pakistan, you get every time slot has a game. So I'll see 3 games a day on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is, and I'll just plan my day that I'm on the couch. My wife knows that I have 3 games today, and these are the times. And in between, I watch, and every Monday I listen to Football Weekly and all the other podcasts that come out during that time. So I watch a lot of football.
Who do you support, by the way?
Nice. No one in particular in England. This year, I'm obviously supporting Liverpool. I was supporting them even when Stevie G slipped, poor guy, because I felt Stevie G deserves a medal, but was not to be. And then obviously, I was happy that Leicester won this year. I'm very happy that Liverpool is winning, but no one in particular. Anyone but Arsenal, I think I would be a good shout of who I support.
Why is that?
I have a lot of Arsenal friends in Pakistan who are just obnoxious and horrible fans. So Arsenal, the Pakistani fans are doing you guys no favors.
You know what's so funny? I said there's loads of differences between mine and your opinion and what we're told. One thing is the same. Nobody likes Arsenal fans in the UK.
No one likes Arsenal fans. No one likes them.
Also, aside from FPL and aside from South Asians, you were brought up with 3 sisters. You've previously said your mum played such a powerful figure for you. You'll call yourself #GirlDad. What is it like having that sort of upbringing and then being someone who is in Pakistan, where of course rules and things are here and there, and society's a little bit, I don't want to say backwards, but here and there as well. What is that like for you? Because I know you really want to push that movement as a person.
So this is definitely, obviously, as you mentioned, having growing up around so many strong female characters in my life has definitely shaped me. And so what I'm trying to push in, especially in the villages, because most of the work I do is in the villages, and because I know that there's nothing a man can do that a woman can't do. So I'm always trying to push for that kind of equality in that area. So for example, we run 86 schools in the rural areas of Pakistan, in South Punjab. So that's where when we push sport, we push it equally for boys' schools and girls' schools. We don't differentiate between, we want to push them more, them less. and we push the same sport. So it's not that, oh, boys, we're going to have cricket and football, girls, you can play, netball or whatever it is. We say,
Yeah.
this is the sport, anyone can play, who wants to play. We have male coaches, we have female coaches, the same ratio. Actually, we have more female coaches. So what we're trying to do is show them that, when your daughter starts playing a sport, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. And initially, there was some pushback from the parents. Why is my daughter not wearing a dupatta when she's playing sports, and this is not right? And slowly, we're like, no, she's in a safe environment. It's on all girls school. So when the initially they were okay, fine, we're okay. This is a safe space. They can play, okay, because we have to get the parent buy-in. A few years later, they're traveling with their girls to different schools and cheering them on like the loudest cheerleaders you ever see, and they're going fanatic over their girl beating this other girl from some major city. So just that initial thing you have to get over, and then you find that as soon as the girls do well, the family just supports them, and this is what I've seen all over South Punjab.
Yeah, yeah. Is my stream still frozen, or is it okay now?
Yeah, I can see it now. I can see it.
Very cool. I think that is one of the things, isn't it? I think it's something I say about South Asians here to do with football. Once you have a little bit of success, parents will support it, people will support it, because
Absolutely.
you can visualize what it looks like, and so therefore you can now believe in it. Until you don't see what could come from it, people don't tend to believe in it very much. What do you think you can do in Pakistan, or in general in the world? It's a very broad question. But what do you think we need to do to bring that equality between men and women, girls and boys overall?
So I again focus on sports. Because that's what I do. That's what I know I can use as a tool. So we can only use the tools at our disposal. I'm trying to use sport and education. So in our schools now we have a full functioning women's team who plays hardball cricket. And now that the one team has been established, now the second team, and now they're rivals. And now they have very, very heated matches between them. And now that we hope those two teams become four will become eight, and so on. So right now, a couple of months ago, we did this project in South Punjab where we started a women's cricket league, a women's only cricket league amongst universities in South Punjab. So just two cities, Bahawalpur and Multan. Sorry, Bahawalpur and Multan. We had these four universities. We made 8 teams, and the first day we called the girls in for trials. 500 girls came on 2-day notice, and we were blown away by the kind of demand that came. We had no idea we would get so many girls interested in playing hardball cricket. Again, it wasn't tape ball, it was hardball cricket, and these girls had never played before, just wanted to play, and no one let them. And soon enough, we had 8 teams running, and now we have a second league coming up, hopefully next year. So and when you see the girls come out, their parents come out to support them, and they're seeing them do well. They hit a 6, and they're just cheering. They're part of it, and they see this is fine, and they're totally okay with it. And once they become fine with the girls playing cricket, they'll hopefully broaden their horizons to what more girls can do, and that's how we try to make a difference in the society here.
Yeah, that's amazing. Honestly, man, we need someone like you in this sort of area. So I don't live in London; I live in Leeds. So it's much smaller, less people, etc., etc. For anyone who's still here, by the way, if you have any questions for either of us, I imagine lots of you are going to ask questions for Ali. Just drop them there. I will obviously ask them for you. We'll make a move in about 5 minutes, because I'm actually going to go downstairs and make a halloumi bake.
Oh, nice.
But as you said, you've been trying new things. I've been learning piano, learning Spanish, and learning to cook.
Yeah, you're single. Okay, don't rub it in.
Yeah, I guess that's the skill of it. Just don't have any kids, don't have a wife, I can do what I want. I have a question for you in terms of, obviously we've mentioned South Asians, we've mentioned women and men as well. In terms of Pakistan as a nation, we haven't seen much international cricket played there, which is probably one of the biggest frustrations going. Do you think that have we turned that corner now? Do you feel like we've turned that corner where?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, we've had so much international cricket this past year, and the PSL was here, and all the players were here. We saw the number of foreign registrations for the PSL draft. It was amazing when the players were here. They had a great time. They all went back thinking, this is great. I don't know why there was issues. All these guys who had come especially from England, so they're very, very happy. So I'm very confident that given this Corona lockdown ends, hopefully soon, and that next year we'll see back to normalcy of international teams coming to Pakistan.
there were actually a few questions for you here. What are your thoughts on private ownership on the 100, and what did you make of the 100 coming about?
So I only thought of it not as a theoretical thing, but as a personal thing, because I have a home in Hampshire, and we've had it for 8, 9 years now, I think. And so I'm a huge Hampshire fan. I go and watch matches up there at the Aegis Bowl. So the if I could in some way, not that one person should own the team, but if you have people investing in the team, in small parts, if I could be a part of the Southern Braves anyway, that would be a dream. Being part of Hampshire cricket, absolute dream.
Okay, all right. So you put your cards on the table.
Oh yes, I'm a huge Hampshire fan, so that would be amazing.
Right, there is a few questions here. Is Ali Tareen going to buy a team in the T10 Abu Dhabi?
I am not. I'm not a big T10 fan.
Yeah, me neither. Tanzo says semi-final or playoffs should the PSL return?
Oh, playoffs. Go with the original formula. Get more games in. Give players more opportunity to play games. If you've come first, you should have 3 more games to play, so your players can do well. So that'd be great.
I think the playoff system works so much better for the PSL. So much better for most tournaments. Because I think when you have because semi-finals is like I don't know, you always feel like
it's a coin flip. It's a simple coin flip.
Yeah.
It's 25% chance for everyone. So what's the benefit of coming first?
Yeah. Whereas playoffs is a lot more fair.
Yeah.
Tanzel's just promoting his own work. MCC Tour feature coming on Sky Sports this week.
I'm very excited. I love all the stuff Sky Sports makes on cricket, including the masterclasses, the history, the interviews. Huge Sky Sports cricket fan.
Yeah, Tanzel plays a big hand in that, by the way.
That's cool. When I met Mike Atherton in Pakistan, it was just so surreal. The guy I've been watching for years. I got to meet him, so that was an absolute honor.
Yeah. Really nice guy as well. Really nice guy.
Yeah, amazing guy. Really good at pool. Very
random. Are you good at pool?
I obviously let him win. The first 5 games, but next season, that's the comeback.
All right. And final question: which player is Ali targeting for next year's PSL? Russell back is the question.
I just want to rely on the current stock we have. Keep as many of them because they were great bunch of guys, very skilled cricketers, great group, all really fun to hang out with, all great to see on the pitch. So all the English players we had this year, I hope to have again. And it's not a coincidence that we have James Vince, Riley Rousseau, both from Hampshire. So long may the Hampshire reign continue.
You're basically just trying to find your way into Hampshire cricket via players. Final question: how is your Ramzan going? What is it like over there?
Ramzan's going good. I'm binging on meaty chawal every day. Lots of samosa, lots of chaat. So I'm going heavy into that because I know I'm not going to get out anytime soon. So no need to shy away from the dad bod. So I'm just all in.
This is. I want to rewind to the start of the conversation when you said I'm going to get hench, or I think you said I'm going to get fit, and now you eat meaty chawal every day.
I was going to get fit when I forgot that I'm not single. I was going to learn the piano as well. I had so many plans. I was going to make like proper paper airplanes. I had so many plans. Origami, all that stuff. Psst, nothing. Just Baby Shark.
And then you woke up one day and realized you have a wife and kids.
As soon as Baby Shark hit my ears, I was like, I can't do anything.
Do you find yourself walking around the house like hearing that song in your head constantly?
All the time. And it's a great song. It's a great song, no doubt. But that was the realization that I can do none of the things I plan to do.
Ali, thank you so much, because I think at the I don't know if you can see at the top, but I think because we've been on nearly an hour, or maybe I've been on nearly an hour, it says we have 1 minute and 10 seconds left.
Okay, Rambo, it's been a pleasure. Looking forward to hosting you in Pakistan whenever you come. And when I come to the UK, I'll definitely hit you up.
Yeah, we'll play a bit of pool and I'll beat you at pool.
And Tanzil, you can join us too for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for everyone tuning in.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.